Hello, hello, hello. Today I am here with Jennifer. We are going to be talking about gratitude and kindness. I am so excited for this subject. So much fun. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Sabrina Victoria. I am the host here at her talk show. We are so excited to be here live. For those of you listening, make sure you follow, like, subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, girl, what are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. We are always going over awesome things that will have you thinking differently about life and business. Let's jump right in.
Get ready because today's guest is about to change. Get ready because today's guest is about to change the way you view your world. This is Her Talk Show, hosted by Sabrina Victoria.
Sometimes we get a little excited with the buttons over here. If you are listening live, thank you for already jumping on. If you are listening on the replay, make sure you hashtag replay wherever you're at so we can send you some love in the comments. We have had over 500 women grace this stage. We are adding another one to the list today. Jennifer is the founder of Hope Inrheart Life Coaching for Women and Kindness Shared Happiness Squared, a nonprofit created to distribute happiness to kids and animals in need. I love this. Two distinct endeavors converging on a singular mission to transform lives and create happiness. Super excited. And a local South Floridian.
Yes. Right here in your backyard, Sabrina.
Yes, so exciting. I love it when my world starts to get smaller.
Right?
It's a cool feeling.
Yes, very cool. So grateful to be here. Thank you for having me. I love your show. For those of you who don't know, Sabrina goes live 5 days a week. So I catch it as often as I can. And I know if I don't catch it live, there's a replay. And you do bring some amazing women. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things about podcasting every day is it's so easy to lose track. You just kind of get in this rhythm of just life. And sometimes learning gets put on the back burner. I'll read that book later. I'll watch that YouTube later. I'll catch that podcast later. But because I'm here live every single day, I'm just learning so much awesomeness. So you are bringing to us today gratitude and kindness.
I am. And like you said in the intro, I have two completely separate businesses with the singular goal of transforming lives and creating happiness. And I do that through gratitude and kindness.
How did this come to be? Tell us.
Well, it definitely evolved over time, and coming together, speaking about gratitude and kindness is way more recent to me, because I would talk about Hope Inrheart over here and talk about kindness shared over here. But the thing that really makes the journey fun and the easier, successful process is the kindness and the gratitude that is infused in everything. So that's how I'm starting to talk about kindness and gratitude more. I think it's so relevant, as most of the women that I see are really craving deeper connections in relationships. And that has to start within ourselves first. Mm-hmm. And for so many of us, I think when something sounds too simple, we automatically dismiss it. We're looking for the 42 steps too. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who do not believe me that you can take a gratitude practice plus a kindness practice and equal your best life. It really can happen. You just got to, give it a try, because I'm living proof. My clients are living proof. And it's one area where you really don't have a lot to lose. Or you're going to be nicer one day. You're going to be more filled with gratitude one day. There's really not a lot to lose. And I think as humans, we tend to make life way more complicated and harder on ourselves than we often need to.
Yeah, I agree. And I think a lot of that comes from, it sounds bad, but I think a lot of that comes from marketing, right? Because you, like authors, for instance, write these big books that are like this thick, that are promising to teach you how to live your best life. And so we think that happiness is 367 pages of content or things to do, when in essence, exactly what you're saying, all 300 of those pages are filled with ways to be kind and find gratitude.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And to your point, I love that you said that. And I know that that does resonate with some people. They, the more words, the better, getting immersed in it, whatever it is. And if that's your path, that's awesome for you. It is not mine. I like get to the point and then put it in action. So I did put together a short little ebook. I think it's about 12 pages, and it's about the action steps, because we can read about something all day long, but if we never put it into action, it doesn't make a difference that we spend all those hours reading the novel of information if we don't put it into action. So I did put together a free little ebook of actionable steps that anybody, so if anything that I say resonates, just grab the book, and you have, quick every day. You can do this if you want to. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a little bit of investment in time in yourself and in your community in different ways that are easy to do. So yes, I don't like getting lost in the volumes. I like action.
100%. Where can they find this? Is this on your website?
It is, they can go to gratitudeandkindnessbook.com. It's not on my website right now. It's at the gratitudeandkindnessbook.com.
Gratitude and spelled out?
Correct.
Let's put this on. Let's put this on the screen, girl. Okay, so gratitude, we're going to do spelling here. Gratitude and kindness.
Correct.
.com.
Book.com.
Book.com. Okay, let's see if it's right. And I can change it if it's not.
Gratitude and kindness. Oh, just take the dot out. I spoke as you were talking. In between kindness and book, I'll take that dot out.
Okay, so no dot. Gratitude and kindnessbook.com.
Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Yes, I absolutely love that. So how did this come into your world? What happened where all of a sudden you're sitting down and you're thinking to yourself, I need to better my life. I need to figure out a way or a means or a short, motto that I can tell myself in order to continue to refocus, repivot into a healthier, more lovely lifestyle. How did this happen?
So I am a product of the product. Life coaching changed my life, and I will be forever grateful for my first life coach who did that for me. And she was, like you say, that lots of old white men changed your life. She was the one who introduced me to all of the old white men to follow. Along with all her wisdom, she shared with me, Wayne Dyer, and I went kicking and screaming. I'm like, no, you have everything. I just only want to learn from you. But she shared with me other people that I could read and follow. So in my own personal development journey, I realized that quieting the inner critic, until we can quiet the inner critic, there's not room for much else, because that's the dialogue that fills our head. Or at least for me, when I laid down my head at night, it would be everything that I did wrong, everything I should have done differently, all of the guilt. Until I could quiet that, there wasn't room for much. And one of the things that I quieted that with was gratitude. When you swap out and you specifically look for what is good, what you can be grateful for, then you slowly, it's not going to happen overnight, but you slowly create new neural pathways in your brain, and it will become easier. In the beginning, it feels like you're going over that like rocky dirt road, and you're literally making the path in your brain because you are. And your brain likes that super highway that goes to the critic. It loves it. That's its lane, and it wants to stay there. So by consistently making that decision to choose a better thought. And one of the teachers that really, really helped me with that a lot was Abraham. The teachings of Abraham also changed my life. The thought of reach for a better thought, right? Like that, every time something that came into my head that was that negative old loop, and especially living here in Florida, driving down the road, I was in my car a lot. Just when something comes in that is your critic, I would just look at the sky and like, oh, such a beautiful color blue, our sky. Oh, look at that sky. It's so pretty. Because it doesn't have to be, I think a lot of us can get lost in the flipping the thought or coming up with the exact opposite or something on that subject, which just doesn't, it feels yucky and we can't get there. It doesn't have to be. Literally just a better feeling thought about anything to fill that space.
Absolutely. I love this this, I guess, concept here as far as swapping out. It's kind of reminding me of when you're on a diet, people tell you, don't tell yourself what not to eat, just eat more healthier foods, and it'll eventually it'll swap itself out basically. So it's kind of a similar concept as far as like, don't like hound yourself and feel all this guilt and shame about the inner critic. Instead, bring in more healthier inner self-talk thoughts, and then those will automatically swap out.
Yeah. It's so important. I love that you brought that up, because what happens when we think about what we can't eat? It's all we want, right? And when, same thing like with the inner critic, if we think about, okay, well now I know that this, it's this inner critic has been causing all this trouble, and we try to push it away, that doesn't work either, because then we're still focused on the inner critic. So if you're just reach for a different thought, reach for a different food, right? You are filling in that space, and the universe doesn't like a vacuum. It's going to put that in. If you reach for something new, that will come in. Again, it takes time, but everything in life takes time. I mean, I have yet to meet a person who took one shower and said, well, it worked, but not for too long, so I don't shower anymore. Everything in life is repetition.
Yeah, definitely repetition, I think, is key. Danielle here mentioned the 300-page book. She said, we don't need a 300-plus book. We need practice in gratefulness. So I love that so much. Thank you for your comment, Danielle. I would love for you, Jennifer, to talk on neural pathways. You mentioned that for those that maybe have never heard of that, or maybe are just now kind of dipping their toe into this world of healing and personal development, and it's maybe a little newer. Can you just touch just a little bit on what that is?
Sure. And that's perfect. I will, for people who are brand new, I can definitely touch on it. It's not where a lot of my background is, so I can't get all scientific. So I'm perfect for if you're getting to know this. And that's how I thought of it when I was training my brain. So our brain is plastic. Our brain can change forms. It does change forms. And again, with consistency. So if you have thought a specific thought, and many of you probably have that, a loop, the same thought goes through your head, and it's usually a judgment. If you've thought that for a long time, it can become automatic. And the same thing can happen with pain. If you've dealt with chronic pain, it travels the same pathways to and from your brain. So there is a pathway that your thoughts take. And when we change that, our brains, it doesn't like it. It is set in the road. So we literally are creating a new neural pathway with our thought. Because thoughts are things, thoughts are energy, their energy goes through our whole body. And if you think about it, you can prove that to yourself by a scary thought. Like, have you gotten a phone call in the middle of the night when you were worried about somebody and your heart races and you get a little sweaty and your whole body starts to panic? You have a physical reaction to a thought. You didn't answer the phone. You don't know who's on the phone, but you're thinking this could be bad. And that thought has a chemical reaction through your body. So our thoughts are related all through the cells of our body. So when we start to create new thought patterns and choose new thoughts, that's hard. It's literally like you're driving down a dirt road and you have to create it. And every time you do, the ruts get a little deeper and the road starts to get a little smoother. And after doing it for quite some time, that will become your new superhighway, and your old one will dilapidate, just like, you know, roads that aren't maintained. It will dilapidate and break down over time, and you have the new roads going with your new thought patterns.
Wow, absolutely. Great visual for sure. As far as steps, you know, I know that we're not talking 72 steps here, but what is a step that somebody who is here listening, we have a ton of people listening live. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with us. Those of you watching on the replay, make sure you drop into the comments and say hello so we can show you some love afterwards here. But what can we do? What is a couple of simple things that we can start to implement daily in order to step into more gratitude and step into more kindness, in order to create this, you know, life magic formula that you're talking about?
Yeah, and I do love that. I love small actionable steps that are available to everyone at any time. So those are the type of steps that are right up my alley. For one, I would say community. And you know all about this with this amazing, huge community of wonderful people. And for me, as an introvert, I can tell you, if there was a way to do this alone, I would have found it. And there's just not. As humans, we're wired for connection. And with that step of finding your community, I do want to put a warning with that not all community is good, healthy community. We do want to be very mindful that you're choosing a community that's filled with kindness. Those are the people that you're looking for on this journey. And your second step would be to invest time in learning about what your top passions are, and then make decisions that move you closer, not farther away from whatever that is that you are truly passionate about. And the third step that I would share is, please do not put yourself last. And if you're at the bottom of your ladder, if you put everybody ahead of you, so you're at the very bottom, and I don't expect you, and you shouldn't expect you to jump up and be, I'm top on my list now. You don't have to go from the bottom to number one in one jump. That's not how you would climb a ladder. So we don't want to expect the same thing with any personal development work. Just take it rung by rung. Maybe you could skip a rung here and there, but be really kind to yourself. Take it one step at a time. You probably share kindness and gratitude with others all the time. So all I'm asking you to do is to share that just a little bit, if it's a little bit more each day, with yourself. That's it. So don't put yourself last. You do not have to jump to the top. I know that would be met with a lot of resistance. How can I do that? All the things. You don't have to. Just have to every day, a little bit kinder to yourself. Show yourself some gratitude. There is such a thing as self-gratitude. Some people say there's not. I totally disagree. If there's self-confidence and self-love, there is self-gratitude. Spend that time giving that to yourself.
Self-gratitude. I'm going to say, yeah, I've actually never heard of self-gratitude before.
Yeah. And I have heard somebody, like authors, say that that isn't a thing. I don't remember who or where I read it, but I'm like, it's a thing in my world, and it's a game changer. So
Yeah, I can totally see that and get that. I love the similarities there. You
yeah.
touched a little bit on time, and I think this is important to recognize, because sometimes when we're looking to make changes and we don't see a drastic difference immediately, we tend to be like, ah, it doesn't work. Jennifer's full of hokiness.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
All that woo-woo stuff. Right.
yes. So this is very interesting, because although these things don't take a lot of time to do every day, also we need to be cognizant of the snowball effect of time.
Yes. And I think to that point, that's where community piece is so important. Because when you have that right community, you feel supported
Yeah.
in this process. So when you can show up and be like, "Ah, I don't think this works," and you have women to come around you and say, let's see, let's look, let me help you find the gratitude. What are you missing? Because we all have blinders on to a certain extent, and sometimes we just need a different perspective to spotlight with the gratitude where that is, what we are looking for. And when we do take that time to figure out what is it that I am passionate about, you gain clarity.
Mm.
So now you have a direction, instead of kind of day after day, the same day, or being on the wheel and not sure really where it's going. You have a direction, and that helps you make decisions and be clear on what your goals are. So you have clarity. And if you are starting to feed yourself some of your own kindness and your own gratitude, your self-love will start to grow.
Mm.
And as that, and like you said, that does take time. If you were growing a garden, it takes a while, right? And it's kind of like, to your point, it grows more like bamboo. Bamboo grows, I forget how many feet down into the ground before this tiny little shoot comes up, right? And then it soars. It's very much like that. You definitely do have to be willing to put the work in on yourself, to then when it sprouts up, it sprouts up. But when you train your brain to love yourself, it makes it a little bit easier. That community is really key.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree 100%. Community, I mean, I think humans just in general need people. We need connection.
Yeah.
It's something
Yeah.
we thrive on.
Yes.
100%.
And I think it also helps us, I learned from Wayne Dyer, what you want for yourself, want for others more. So when you're in a community of like-minded women, you really want everybody to succeed. It drives you, because you'll do whatever it takes within your ability to support other women in having that, because you know how that feels. You know what it feels like to be working towards that and wanting that, and really supporting each other through that is key.
Yeah, definitely. What would you say is the number one lesson up to this point that you've learned about life?
I think that what I learned is that the universe is a little bit like kids and horses. With kids and horses, there's no neutral. You're always teaching. Whether you're teaching a bad habit or you're teaching a good habit, you are always teaching. And they say for every bad ride that gets put on a horse, you need to put 8 good rides on to correct it. And yeah, and I look at it like, if our kid is asking for something and we say no 7 times, but on time number 8, we say yes, we just taught our child that that's how to ask for something, is to ask 8 times. Like, that's what it takes. They don't think they're being annoying or manipulative or sneaky. They literally think it takes 8 times. And that's how I get whatever that is. Like, they just make sense to them. And then I learned that how we treat ourselves is us teaching the universe how we want to be treated.
Mm.
Once I learned that, then I became a lot kinder to myself, a lot kinder. That's in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, wait a second. No, I don't want more of this. Let me be very clear. Let me be, kinder to myself and love myself and be nice to myself. And all of the things that I want to receive starts with me acting that way and embodying that and giving that to myself in whatever way I can do that vibrationally.
Yeah, definitely. This is definitely something. I have a 19-year-old son, and definitely something that I implemented really early on was my no meaning no and my yes meaning yes. And I think it was probably about a decade after my son was born where I had this realization that my no had to mean no and my yes had to mean yes for myself too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And then we can trust ourselves. And your son could trust you because he knew what you were saying you meant. And then we get to trust ourselves that way, which is so powerful. Yes.
Yeah. 100%. That's great. Limiting beliefs, I know, is something that we all deal with. And I don't think there will ever be a point where, we have zero limiting beliefs because they're always forming, right? As we're healing from one, there's another one forming somewhere from something. But I'd love for you to kind of touch on this a little bit as we start to wrap up on, the kindness, the gratitude that we have for ourselves, and then also giving ourselves grace around limiting beliefs from our parents, from society, from culture. What is something that you do yourself or maybe with your clients in order to help, shift some of those limiting beliefs that we have?
Yeah, you are so right. Right. They always come. As long as we're living and breathing, there'll be another one to pop up. And the great thing is, while we're doing the work, we know that. So we don't want to beat ourselves up that, I've done all this work. How could I still have a limiting belief? No, because we're breathing and we're human. So of course. So don't beat yourself up for it, first of all. And if anything, celebrate it with gratitude that you're aware of it. Because there was probably a time in your past, I know for me, where you wouldn't be aware of it. It was just my normal programming. And that's how I operated life. Now I can celebrate and be grateful that I caught it. It was just an off, thought. It's not my internal dialogue anymore. And I will either just literally, I will still reach for a different thought right away, a better thought. Or if I'm speaking, if I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody and I say something I catch as a limiting belief, I will say out loud, that's not true. So that's like my phrase is, that's not true. Because I can say that in the middle of a conversation and it still makes sense. For me, it was important to be able to say it in my head or say it out loud because I wanted to be able to diffuse it immediately. So if I catch that, I'll say, that's not true. And then I'll rephrase with something that is affirming of, my highest good. So that would be a really great thing I would invite everybody to do, is figure out what saying or word they can use to just stop that pattern. And then they can shift into, a more empowering belief. But definitely, please don't beat yourself up because you're human. You're going to have them. Celebrate the awareness, have a word or a saying that you can put in and then affirm with something that's positive for you.
Wow, so powerful. This reminds me of a exercise I used to do with my clients called That's a Lie.
Ah,
And it was writing down just a list of just things that go through your head. It wasn't like I was like, write down all the bad things, just like all the things that go through your head on a daily basis that are, you could do without. And then, after they do that, putting a line and letting them know, like, those are all lies. Now, what's the truth? So something like, I'm fat, that's a lie. The truth is, you just need to lose 7 pounds. Or you want to lose. It's not even that you need to, that you want to lose 7 pounds. That
right.
is so good. I love that yours is in real time.
Yeah.
That's like one step. That's like next level because you're correcting yourself in real time versus waiting till you sit down with a coach to do an exercise like that. So in real time, if you say something in conversation, you can immediately catch yourself and say, oh,
Yep, that's not true.
that's not true.
That's not true. Yes. Yeah. And most
then,
of the people in my world are familiar with that because they've heard me say it. And I know their sayings when they're changing what they, want something different to have just come out of their mouth. I'm used to their sayings as well. So yeah, and which is great, right? Like let's all give ourselves the space to autocorrect, and it's not going to happen in real time as you start. It's that practice. The more you stay consistent to it, then you'll get it. So in the beginning, you might get it when you lay down that night. So then especially, please don't beat yourself up. You still got it. And you will start to get it a little sooner and a little sooner.
Yeah, I do this with only one thing, but now I've never even thought to do it all the time, but I do it with one thing. And it's one of my biggest pet peeves when somebody says, everybody's saying, everybody said, and it's who's everybody?
Right.
What do you mean everybody? Because it's only like one or two people said it. But we say so that's one thing that I actually do and actually have been for years correcting myself on is when I say, well, everybody is saying that. I'll correct myself and I say, actually, that's not true. Two people said it. But
but it feels like everybody.
Yes. I love this. And just another reason why doing this podcast is phenomenal and why, listening to podcasts like this is phenomenal is just these little tiny itty bitty tweaks that we can start to make in our life that winds up making a world of difference in how we stand authentically as a person over the course of years.
Yeah, it's
So
important. The little changes. It's like everyday opportunities, how we show up in every single moment matters way more than the once in a blue moon things, right? Like it's everyday stuff, the things that could go right by us if we weren't really paying attention, because that's what happiness and kindness and gratitude, it's in all of the little things. It's not waiting for that bigger event to happen.
yeah. Wow. Very, very cool. I love that, Jennifer. Listen, we have a ton of people watching live. I'm sure even more on the replay. Obviously, we're getting a really good idea of what you do, what you teach. But if you could do me a favor and just kind of break down what exactly do you do within your businesses and who should be reaching out to you? Who should be coming to you for help or assistance?
Okay, so businesses at Hope Inrheart, my mission is to empower women on their journey of personal development by teaching them how to create transformation through gratitude. I aspire to live in a world where gratitude is the catalyst for personal growth, and that inspires hope in other women that they can do the same. If I can do it, you can do it. It's available to everybody. And Kindness Shared has a mission to distribute happiness to kids and animals in need. So two totally separate businesses. Both, to me, my heart is in both of them 100%, so important to me. And the way that I can balance the both of them is the way I work with women is in our gratitude membership. So we meet in a group forum, and then any private coaching that I do is available to gratitude members only. Because I think you really need, along with balancing my time, you really need community. And then if you need the one-on-one, you have that. But to show up and know that you have that community support all day, every day, if you need it, and then you have the option for private, for those things that are private that you want to work on a deeper level.
Exactly. That's beautiful. And then for those that are looking for you, website, social media, where do you hang out?
Yep. So website there, hopeinrheart.com. And then Kindness Shared is literally, it's kindnessshared.com if you want to check out the charity. And social media, I'm pretty much all over, under both. Under Facebook, I'm under my name, Jennifer Altieri. I'm under Hope Inrheart and under Kindness Shared. Instagram, I'm under Hope Inrheart and Kindness Shared, and LinkedIn under my name.
Awesome.
So wherever your favorite place is, you can probably find me.
Beautiful. And then we were talking earlier in the podcast, for those of you that are just jumping on, I see a few of you jumping on. We were talking about gratitudeandkindnessbook.com. Can you let us know what's there? So anyone.
Oh, yes. So if any of this has resonated, or if you're just jumping on and you are curious, that is actionable steps, easy read to implement gratitude and kindness into your own life and a ripple effect out into the community as well. It's easy breezy, actionable items that you can do.
Beautiful. Well, this has been absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much, Jennifer, for hanging out with us and sharing such awesome, valuable information. To those of you that resonated with Jennifer and all the goodness that she shared, make sure to follow, connect, check out her website. We love to connect people here on this platform in order to make sure we all continue to rise. Any closing thoughts as we wrap up?
Yeah. I just want to remind everybody out there who might have forgotten for the moment that you are enough. Exactly how you are, as you are. We do personal development work because we want to be our next highest and best selves, kind of like nature, and trees are always growing tall. Not because there's anything wrong with us, how we are. You are amazing and wonderful exactly how you are right now.
Exactly. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That brings us to an end of yet another incredible episode of Her Talk Show. Thank you, Jennifer, for sharing your wisdom and inspiring us all. To our dedicated listeners, thank you for staying with us until the very end. Remember to follow, like, and share, and know that we see you. Once again, I am your host, Sabrina Victoria, and I invite you to join our amazing community, Her Nation, where we continue to have uplifting, amazing conversations just like this every step of the way.